27.
All right, yeah, take your time. Like I said, I've often heard ladies tell me bodybuilding is not a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon. It's about taking the time to build and conditioning, especially in a division like women's bodybuilding. You want that overall size compared to others like physique. You still, like I said, from what I'm seeing from your pictures and stuff, I saw posted, you have a great physique. It's very impressive. I think either way you can go. But this is the question I'm going to start with. Ask you here: what got you started in a sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
Yeah, I was very overweight. So I fell pregnant. I was overweight from a child, and then I lost it sort of when I became a teenager, put it back on again, fell pregnant at a young age, and then just sort of always struggled with my weight. So I started traditionally, like everyone, being a cardio bunny, going out and jogging and just hitting the cardio. And because I've got a personality where I always have to have a goal. So I started running, and then I got into marathon running, so long distance running. And then just one day I lived in France for 18 years. So one of my best friends, when I was out there, a new gym was opening. So she was like, "Oh, shall we go?" And then I went into this gym with her. And as soon as I walked in, I was just absolutely felt at home. And absolutely loved it, and didn't know what anything did really. Sort of was playing around on the machines, and then just carried on going. Someone was helping me out of the gym and like became my coach. And because I've got this personality, I just go full send into everything. So I was just like, right, this is it. This is me now. And for a while, I was still long distance running and bodybuilding, but the two aren't compatible. You can't do the two together. And I just loved, for me, I'm small. I just, everyone's got this like body dysmorphia in bodybuilding and always doesn't see themselves as other people see them. And I just I love looking at the ladies that have got, all these bubbly muscles and legs that are just, crazy sizes. And that's what my aim is just to keep putting on this size and just to get bigger. And I absolutely love training. Like now we're post show, training's flying, and for me that's the main thing. Like competing is a byproduct of me putting in the work for training, and obviously you've got the food and the sleep, everything that goes with it, but I just love the feeling that I get from going in and having a great session, get that nervous anxiety before a leg session, and it's that I absolutely love. And then from there, obviously working hard, you do build that muscle, but like you say, it does take time. It's a game of patience. And I'll be 47 in a couple of months, and I've been doing this now for 15 years. And even though I didn't compete for 9 years, I was still training as part of my life now. I've always trained, go to the gym sort of 5 times a week, more if I was allowed, but we know that you need to recover. So it's just, it is my life, and it's not a hardship at all. Like training, the food, the diet, for me, that's me. That's what makes me me. And I just love the whole routine of it.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about it, that this is not just a changing of just who you are as a person, but it's a lifestyle change. Getting involved into this, the competitive part of it, the training, the dieting. That's most people wouldn't have the same. This is one thing. There's a difference between discipline and motivation. Motivation can change with the wind. Discipline is something you stick to, even if you are doing the same thing over again, eating the same thing over and again, because it's part of your process that you grow to develop. And as you mentioned earlier, you said the Europe Championship. I know an interview a while back. She also competed PCA. Clara Crowder, she competed that show, and I think you would sing class, and it's a lot, especially when you are like yourself. Both of y'all ladies are women of mature age. You have children, and there's a lot of responsibility to that. Like, how old are your babies?
So my children now are adults, so 26, going to be 27 next week, 23 and 19. And I've got 2 granddaughters, 2.5-year-old Lottie and 8 weeks out now, Mabel. So 2 young grandchildren that I'm going to move for shortly, to be able to help them and be a nan on hand and have the girls once a week. But when I was competing the first time round, the children were young, and I've been a single parent for all of their lives, really. So it was a case of juggling it. And I think that's why I took a step back from competing, because it is a very selfish sport at the end of the day. It's something where when you're competing and you're in prep, you're in your own lane, you're in your own head, you've just got this focus and you can't let anything get in the way of it. So if you are, obviously you have got a family as well, and we've got jobs. We're not, we have to sort of keep an income because it's an expensive sport as well. So it is hard to try and juggle all of those and give time to your children as well. So I think that's why I sort of took that step back from the stage, is just because there was a lot going on in our lives, and the children were growing up and they needed me. But now they're older, they're doing their own thing. They still think I'm as crazy as ever with the sport. They are athletic, all of them. They all do their own sports, boxing, high rocks, Zumba and things. So they do sort of follow a regime of eating good food, nutritious food, and they do train regularly. But they see that this sport is extreme and think that I'm crazy. But now that, like I say, they're older, I can sort of delve back into it, and dipping my toe back in this year or last year, just brought again out that absolute passion that I have for competing and taking it to that level. I love the whole of prep. It was, it's really bloody hard work, but I absolutely loved it, and I was just in my element from start to finish. And it's just carried on now. Like I say, the motivation for training, thinking that I can step back on stage and what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure that I bring a different package that's a better package, so that the judges can see that I've gone away and worked. Like I say, for me, I love it. It's not a hardship. It's not something that I think, oh Christ, I've got to go to the gym today. I really don't want to. I just love everything. I love my meal prep. I love the food I eat. So it is me. But I love it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to love what you get into this sport, because, like I said again, there's so much sacrifice to it: time, money, your body, your mind, because it can be emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual draining sport. It take a lot out of you, and especially instead of getting earlier, being women of mature age, like my man Doc Holliday, where my Doc Holliday says, "I'm in my prime." So sometimes that's the thing, is you got to be prime for this, getting into it. And I know your children, there was days when, especially when you were in the early stages of your competitive time, where they feel like, Mom, we want to spend more time with you, and then yada yada. And then also when you're cooking, you got to cook separate from them, from yourself, because they're not going to eat, dry chicken and broccoli and carrots all day. Kids like, a little biscuit or something, a little sweet or something like that. And, and also being a grandmother, that's special, because my mother, she, before she passed, she was a grandmother, a great grandmother. And, and those babies, they really appreciate spending time with their grandma.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. And being a nan, you just see things differently. I would, like I say, I was a single mum, 3 kids. I had multiple jobs. I've always had multiple jobs. And my daughter said to me the other week, she was like, "Did we do this?" And I was like, in the nicest possible way, I dragged you up in the nicest possible way to get you to where you need to be. But now I'm like seeing things for the first time again, and taking a step back and relishing in it. But when you are in the throes of it, you do what you have to. And bodybuilding has always been a staple for me. Even if I wasn't competing, I've always been a bodybuilder. And it's really helped me. It's helped me mentally with my life as well. There's so many transferable skills that you can get from when you're in the gym. One is, you've got patience, like you say, you've got the discipline, the motivation, but that gets you to where in your work life and in your life that you're doing outside of the gym, those skills all transfer. And today I think everything is so fast and so quick, and everyone's so flippant, and bodybuilding is never going to be a sport that is a flippant sport, because you have to go in, you do the same things every week, you might add a kilo or a kilo and a half on or something, and you go again, and you're trying to get those better reps, more form. It is a sport that is slow. It's that gets you to where you need to be, and will put on that size and muscle. You can't just go in, pick a few weights up, throw them about, and then be done and expect to change. It is a sport that is patience is a virtue in this sport, and I think those are skills as well that you take with you. And like you say, when you go in and have an amazing session, sometimes mentally you might not be in a great space, but you'll go in the gym, and I always find that I'll come out with a better mindset, and I would have had a great session. I feel fresh, I feel great, and I'm ready to go. So it helps me in my daily life. If you've got sort of issues with work, with life, with stress, for me, training is always something that is a constant for me and will always be there. And whatever mood I'm in, if I'm in the best mood, if I feel a bit down, training's just great, and it will sort me out.
Yeah, and the one thing I think, especially some people out there, they want everything quick, fast, in a hurry. There's no fast solution. Sometimes you get burned out a lot quicker. You try to do it fast. And with bodybuilding, especially with the everyday person who's out there, like they think that it's all you do is got pop some magic pills. Taking steroids, and I'm jacked. And again, we go back to the fact that it is about being disciplined, being persistent, being consistent. It's not if you don't have that mindset for it, then you shouldn't get involved in it. So like I said, what's that feeling for you when you get on stage? Like you said, what was it? Because say 9 years because you were taking care of your family and you were living in Paris, France. Ooh, was it France? What was there for you in France, and why were you there?
I was in the southwest, so it wasn't quite as bourgeois as Paris, but it was on the coast and on the seaside. And I just always loved. I've been a massive Francophile, so I always loved France. And then went out there because it was a better life for the children. And then that's where I sort of found bodybuilding and started competing. So when I was in France, I competed in France, Italy, Spain, and then when I came back to the UK for my children for their further education, then I sort of, like I say, carried on training but didn't compete just because life was busy and you need the time. There's no point in going into a prep if you're not in that right mindset or you haven't got the time to dedicate to it. And then I think I lost a bit of confidence in myself, and it was when I started training with Amanda and she became my coach. Again, I was sort of saying to her, I was thinking of maybe dipping my toe in competing, and then when she was like, "You're ready, let's go in and do a prep," and I was like, yeah, okay, let's just see what we've got and if I like it. And like I say, that first PCA competition, I was backstage, and there was obviously there's sort of nerves because you don't want to make an idiot of yourself when you're stepping on stage and you've got the routine, and there's a lot of women's physique and women's bodybuilding. There's so many mandatory poses compared to bikini and figure. So thinking of all of those, but just when I got on there, I don't know, I was absolutely in my element, and I loved it. And I had the smile on my face is not a forced smile; it's totally genuine. I was just beaming from ear to ear when I was going through. And again, it's the people you meet, that community spirit, because it is such a strange sport, and you're getting tanned up and you're all standing there with very little clothes on, and it's just such a weird thing. But when you're all there in the thick of it, you're talking about what you want to eat and all of things like that. You're sharing all of your journeys that you've been on, and you just meet people that understand what you've been through, and it's just the best feeling. And having Amanda there, she was at all of the competitions. We stayed in Airbnbs because she had sort of multiple athletes competing at the same competition. So again, we were all in there, all going through our routines together, posing, checking in with Amanda. And she was saying, you need to wait to eat, you go and do this or that. She was just incredible. And it was just the best memories that I've had for a long time. And like I said, I found myself again. You get like, my children are older, they don't need me as much. And I was feeling a bit lost. I was like, well, what do I do? I've got my business, I've got my coaching that I do, and I do translations and admin, but I needed something else. And that was it. I found that it was going back in and, going in full send into training and training for a purpose with doing sort of competing. So that's it now. So I've come reversed out, and now I'm like, okay, let's build to go back in again.
Well, that's, like I said, this is it's a work in progress. And your coach you mentioned is Amanda Winston, who is an IFBB figure pro. She's been
Yes.
competing for quite a long time. I think it's been the last couple of years since she last competed. I mean, it's a good relationship you'll have. How long y'all known each other?
I moved to Plymouth, and in the same area she did. So she was at the gym that I wanted to sort of train out of. That was her gym. So I met up with her in the first instance just as a posing coach to help me posing. And when I spoke to her, she'd just come out of her last competition in America. And she looks insane, whatever season she's in. If she's in off season, if she's competing, she looks absolutely phenomenal. And when I chatted to her, I was just like, there's no question. It's just, she's my coach. She knows so much about sort of hormonal issues and, women's hormones. And she's such an on-hand coach. And the fact that she's here, like I said, I trained with her today. I'm so privileged to be able to sort of train with her, once a week. And she's just there. She comes to every competition. When she was traveling in America, in Dubai, she'd stay up, just to check us in when we're in prep, because, you wake up at 4, you want to know what you're going to eat for the day. And I honestly couldn't have got to where I was without having her there. And now, like, she'll never get rid of me. That's what I said to her. So now, like, going forward, I just had my bloods back. They're in a really good spot. So, coming out of that as well as, an older woman, I wouldn't have got those blood test results without her and her sort of help and advice going all the way through. So, she's absolutely crazy in the best possible way. And I just love everything about her. And like I say, without her, I wouldn't have got here. I wouldn't have even stepped back on stage, I don't think, if she'd not sort of pushed me to do it that first instance. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah. So in a way, she's your other half. She completes you. So
she is. Yeah, she is as crazy as the Joker as well. So she's definitely the other half.
Well, she recently just started following me on my IG. I hope maybe we can get her on for an interview, get her talk, because like I said, with bodybuilding, even though it's a kind of a small community you were talking about earlier, but it's kind of gone worldwide. It's women from the UK, women from England. I mean, UK to France. Like I had one lady who I had from France, the legendary multiple-time Olympia Barbara Manjan, and that was like if it was like back in 2022, she can compete. That was after that last Olympia she did. People like from the UK, Lisa Cross. I interviewed Romana Scottson, there's Sarah Bradley. So many other competitors across the world. Ladies, as far as from Singapore to Brazil and other countries, it's really has become. Even though it's like this, it's not as big a sport. If you look at the mainstream sports like soccer, football, basketball, baseball, it's still seen as a fringe sport because the thing is different. It's always going to be that the accusation of it, the use of performance enhancers and steroids. But again,
it's always going to be an underground sport. Yeah.
But again, that's just part of recovery. And I know I've interviewed some young lady. I interviewed a young lady. Her name is Hannah, and she is also from the UK. She's a natural competitor.
Hannah. Yeah. Posing with Hannah,
Yeah, she's still young. I think she came to the States about a couple of months ago and did a show, which natural show, but in the pro card. Like interviewed one of the competitors that competed there, also same show. She's also natural. It's a process that you got to find what works for you, and it's good that you find a coach that understands. So sometimes I think, especially for women, I'm saying like this: men and women were the same race, but we're different breeds.
We're different, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, biology, stuff like that. Like I said, you had children, you had babies. Men, we can't have babies. This is I to quote my man Conan. The what's important in life for a man is to crush your enemies, seem dreaming for you, and hear the lamentation of the women. That is good. So taking the time off to grow and develop, and that's smart.
I think it's a very personalized thing, whether you go into sort of performance enhancing drugs. And I think that, obviously when you're in a prep, it's a real extreme, but outside of prep, I think it's a really healthy sport because we really listen to our bodies, and we know what they need. And even if you're taking performance enhancing drugs, that's a choice that the individual makes. And then you find a coach that supports your decision and supports with your education and your learning for that. And then aside from that, like I say, I have regular blood tests. I look after my hormones because, you know, in as long as well as doing the sport and going into competitive competitions, I'm also going sort of through the menopause. So those two have got to work together. And it's my choice then of what I want to do and where I want to take that. But then finding a coach like I've got Amanda that understands that and has the knowledge to help me sort of navigate through where I want to go and what I want to do and how far I'm willing to take things. It's a real it's a real step that you need to have that coach alongside you. And like I say, she's amazing, and it's my choice of what I want to do and how far I want to go. And like I say, because I'm not going to have any more children, and I'm not in a relationship, so I've decided that I'm happy with it. And there are other people that want to go more of the keep staying on the natural side. But for me as well, it helps me because of going through that menopausal stage. There are now, half of the PDs are to support that and to keep me going and in a healthy state. So it's a case of sort of learning and seeing how far you're willing to take it and what you need to support that. Like my testosterone levels are naturally low, so I take fem tests to get them up to just a baseline level. It's not that it's anything superfluous to what I need to do. It's literally just to get them to baseline because of my age, and I train hard. So when I do have blood test results, my testosterone levels are always low. So for me, I'm taking that just to get them to a level that I need them to. Nothing out of the ordinary, just at a baseline level. But that's, and I'm going to do that because otherwise I feel like crap.
Yeah. The thing is it's about what you use to help you process. It's not, it's not the thing that helps you gain the muscle. It's the thing for recovery. And again, we go back to always the issue we look at bodybuilding because it's considered it's a man's sport. But as a woman, you find a sport that you love and you want to develop and grow. If you be a pro at FitX or being a pro in the PCA or the IFBB, it's just something that I think people, they enjoy what they do, and they get it's a passion they follow, and they understand the work it takes to follow that passion. We have here someone popping into the comment section. My man here, KL the Wonder, he also does content on the ladies. He's more a fan of the muscles. It's a crime. I gotta tell you this crime, Lord. Before I made a muscle person small, y'all ladies. Y'all excite me, so I have to share that with you. He says this. Good morning, good afternoon. Appreciate that, brother. So while we got Laura here and we're talking with her, we're going to do this. We're going to jump into her social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her link in the description of this slide. If you want to check her out, reach out to her. She's also a coach and a trainer. If you're somebody, maybe you do online coaching, or is mostly you will like in person?
Yeah, no, I was doing in person. I was doing about 30, 40 hours a week, but because, like I said, I'm moving now to be closer to my granddaughters and my eldest daughter, it's more online and lifestyle coaching. And like I say, because I'm at menopausal age, I'm a single mom, have multiple jobs. I think I've had a lot of life experience that I can then help other women with. Not necessarily women, men, but everyone's sort of busy. Everyone's got like I say, multiple jobs, kids have got sports clubs and things, but you can still find that time to look after yourself. And it's a case of, it's self-care really, that people need to, everyone should dedicate that time for themselves to go into the gym. And I'm such a fan of, picking up the weights. It's great if you want to do those classes and the cardio classes, but as you get older, you need to be lifting weights. And I'm such an advocate for that I think that's what I sort of push, even if it's not, it doesn't have to be anything extreme like me. Even if you can get in there and do a half hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, you can get such a good workout in, and the benefits that you will see, like I say, transfer into your daily life, your, back niggles that you're feeling, sort of getting up and about, picking up your shopping bags, all things like that. Unless you're doing lifting progressive load, then you're that's what you need to be doing when you get to a certain age, whether you're male or female. It's really, really important to put that into your daily routine. And then, like I say, with good nutrition as well, you'll be flying into getting older. And as the age creeps up on us, we want to be in the
Yeah.
healthy way.
Yeah, I can stand it because you know what? I'm just turned 51 in November. And, you know, I used to be, at one point, I was almost 500 pounds because I was taking care of my mother. And she used to be, you know, she had to raise not just me, there was like my three sisters, my three brothers, my two older nephews. That's and
Yes.
she and you know, and that's why I have a love for a single woman because you know what they had to do and what they had to go through the struggles. I got to shout out always. My mother was the one who really got me into this because I was taking care of her, and like this, as a boy, you as our mothers, you are our number one woman. We have girlfriends and wives coming really down, but we can't. Once we lose our mother, we lose that person that we have a strong bond with. And I know your daughter appreciates you coming through, helping her with her babies, and your other kids spending time with you. We got here a comment here from a man, Kelly says, yeah, I like Laura's muscles. How long do you keep your body conditioned? I'm impressed with your progress. Well, she's really impressive. So what we're going to do, guys, as I said earlier, we're going to jump into her social media for a bit. And she, you know, and guys, if you want to follow her, the link's in the description. But this is a nice lady. She's somebody's mother. She's somebody's grandmama. Guys, I know you love these buff, muscular women. Be respectful. No weird shit. Reach out with genuine interest and support. So we're going to jump into her social media for a little bit. So you want to follow the links in the description as live. And as I said again, I earlier I talked. She did an interview with Claudio over at Hardcore Bodybuilding. Claudio has really been stepping up on his stuff. He just started a new database for website. Here she is with a coach, Amanda Watson. Yeah, here talking. Is a friend or a client you're talking to?
That's Lewis Breed. He's another IFBB pro. So I do some PT sessions with him just to try and elevate my training, just to really target the areas that I need to grow.
Yeah, it's really impressive from some of the pictures I've seen here. I mean, here she is again with Amanda. You know, what do you feel like at the last show? What does it feel like the thing that you need to work on the most? Because you know, like I'm looking at you, got crazy arms, shoulders, your back, your glutes are just crazy condition.
For me, it's I need to get, because I'm quite wide, I need to get that taper on my waist. So I need to bring up my back and that quad sweep I need to bring up. So it's about creating that taper and giving the illusion that I've got a smaller waist because I'm quite thick in the waist. And so it's about bringing up the size and just to get that X frame in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this is before and after. You can see how much she has a good white. That's what the back can make
so on the left, I was 68 kilos, and on the right, I'm 63. So I'm actually 5 kilos less on the right side, but obviously look a lot bigger with the muscle. So that's the progress that I've made with Amanda in just over a year.
Yeah, it's pretty good progress. And here she is. You know, you're working on your posing because she also works with your posing too. She does nutrition also?
Yes, yeah. Amanda does everything. She's an amazing posing coach. So she teaches guys as well. She's just got such a good eye. She does everything. So she does my supplements, the nutrition, my training, my recovery. So I'm also working a lot at the moment on mobility. So I'm going to sort of doing regular yoga classes. So that was me before at my heaviest. I was like 75 kilos. And that's me competing there. So that was we got to about 58 when we got on stage. My lowest I got to it was 54 in prep, and then we got up to like 58 kilos. So we lost about 21 kilos.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and like I say, it's a process. The training, the dieting. Here's some pictures here from when she was at the Europa Championship, championship in Italy, and you were only two women in bodybuilding because, as you know, what the rules is that if there's not enough people, like it has to be at least a minimum of 5 to get your pro card. Who's this young gentleman? That's your boy?
No, that's my son. He came to Milan with me.
He's a good-looking boy. You know, he's just as good-looking as his mama.
He's an absolute star.
Yeah, I know he's proud of his mama. You know, like I said,
he's going to Italy. He's actually going to Italy next week to do a high rocks competition.
What's high rocks?
It's where you do. So you have sort of different exercises, and in between each exercise you run, I believe it's a kilometer, and so you've got things like wall balls, rope pulling, lunges. So it's a big sport here. I don't know what it's like in the States, but it is a big sport. But he's going to Italy to do his first high rocks competition next week.
Sounds like a bit like CrossFit in a way, because they do a lot of or triathlon.
It's a bit like CrossFit, but you've got the running element in between each exercise. You do the kilometer run.
Mm-hmm, yeah, here she is on the stage at the competing women's physique at the Euro Masters. What was critique from the judges? Because I think you were second place at the show.
Yeah, it's just my size. So the lady that won was absolutely phenomenal. You can see her there. She's got that size over me. So I've got the condition, so we know we can get into condition. So now it's just literally get in the gym and get some more muscle on my frame.
Yeah, I know the lady. I followed the lady. Her name is Julia. She's from Italy. I've seen her. She just made her pro debut just after that show in Portugal. She took second, which was second to.
She's got that. She's also got that bubbly look. I don't tend to get that bubbly look. Mine's more of a grainy look. So it depends as well. It's so subjective. It depends on what the judges want, and if they're looking for that bubbly look or if they're looking for more of a grainy physique. But I definitely know that I need to get some size on my frame. So I know that was the only feedback that I got, was just to get that taper. So if we get size on, we'll get that taper in. And like I said, I'm working on everything my end now to get that.
Yeah, because especially in women's physique, you want more lean, aesthetic look compared to women's bodybuilding, where you want to be more fuller, more size, more the
I think that's
bellies.
why we're going between either women's physique or women's bodybuilding, whatever category I sort of fit into. Then we'll go with that. I love both the categories, whether it's WPD or bodybuilding. I'm happy either way. So it's I aspire to people like Sarah Bradley. I think she's absolutely amazing. I love Dr. Meg Scooby. Rania, I think, looks phenomenal. So it's whichever I get, I need that size. So, and then I'll see where I fit into.
Yeah, I actually met Meg Morrison when I was in Tampa. She was there when she made her debut in women's physique. She's a big woman. Some say she looks closer to women's bodybuilding than physique. Yeah, that's the debate.
100%. She's absolutely got. I mean, they're the women that I aspire to. So I need to get that size to sort of fit in, to be anywhere near where they are. So I've got a long way to go, but it's like you said, it's a sport of longevity. So there's no real age. There's no time that I've got to stop. As long as I'm in good health and I'm loving it, then I'll just keep going.
Well, here she did an interview right after she got a pro card at the FitX. So we'll share the interview with y'all. You're going to listen. Well, this is a video for FitX, but where's the interview? I know the interview is here because I saw it.
Oh, I think the interview was at PCA. I think I did.
It's PCA. Oh,
yeah,
straight after. Oh, FitX. Here it is.
The trained figure class at the PCA Midlands. So Laura, got up there, got the win. How did it feel mentally getting ready for today's show?
It's been crazy because I haven't competed for 9 years. Okay. So it's coming back in and just seeing whether I still enjoy competing, because I always love bodybuilding. And honestly, having Amanda Winston as my coach has just made it the best prep ever. Okay. And I was totally chilled and relaxed and just wanted to come in and enjoy it, and I absolutely loved it.
With that amount of time off, was there a fire lit? Was there a specific moment that says, I'm just going to jump back on stage?
Well, it was Amanda really that got me to, because I never thought I'd have the confidence to get back, and I never thought I'd be big enough. You're never going to be big enough, are you? Yeah. But then when I started the prep, I did a massive off season, started the prep, and I was just, this is me. I'm a bodybuilder through and through, and I absolutely love it.
Okay. Now, I'm going to let you go in a second because you've got to be over in a second. But now, in that off season, was it kind of just time to chill, or was it always a constant point of still just training, keeping things ticking over and still improving just in case you want to get back out there?
Yeah, I've always trained like I'm going to step on stage. So my diet's always been on point. My training's always been like 100%. So I've always had that mentality that I'm going to step back on stage, but it was just me.
Well, it's a pretty good interview here. And also, we have a video from the competition as she was doing her posing. I'll pull it up here for y'all. You want to check it out? I got to mute it because YouTube is always some shit about music and stuff like that. But it was, excuse me, I have technical difficulties, folks. But you're very impressive, lady. I mean, I would say that the especially a woman of 47, having 3 kids, working, being consistent. I give you respect on that.
Thank you. No, it's like I say, I absolutely love it, but there is no age with this sport. That's why it is such an amazing sport, because it doesn't, you are a step on stage with women that are half my age, and it's just that you just put that time in, the dedication, and it is so subjective. You can't go, although, you want to be the best, but it's always against yourself, because you never know what the judges are looking for. So all you can hope and aim for is that you're always getting better against you. So, when we went from that first PCA show right up until Milan, each show I came in a little bit better. So again, we either peaked with Amanda a bit differently. She again was learning my physique as I was, going different on the stages. And she's learned a lot. I've learned a lot about myself for when we go on again. So next time I step on stage again, I'll be better than what I was, and then hopefully keep going and keep getting that improvement each time, because that's all you can do. You never know what the judges are going to be looking for. You never know who's going to come and step on stage with you. So it is just about you each time and getting that bit better, whether that's with your posing, whether that's with your mandatories, how you're peaking, if you come in a bit fuller or if you come in more conditioned. But it's always about tweaking. It's so interesting because you just learn so much about yourself each time. And I know that and Amanda knows now that I function well on high water. Daily my water is about 7 liters, and if I'm sort of under that, then I don't function as well. So it's such an individualized sort of process as well, of what your body needs and how it works and what it works well on. So it's such an interesting sport as well. Whereas if you love your sport, whether that's golf, whether that's football, whether that's rugby, swimming, it really doesn't matter as long as you love it and you're passionate about it. But the thing with bodybuilding is it's all encompassing. It's about your daily life. If you need to make sure your sleep's on point, your recovery, your mobility, your food, it's your water, how much salt you're having. It's one of those sports. I think it's the only sport that every single thing that you do in your day-to-day life has an impact on.
Yeah, and also pretty much it's not about the competitors you're up against. It's like more like you versus you.
You have 100%.
Yeah, because you're the one who has to make the improvements. Because you know what, that person might come in and they had a good day, like we talked about Julia earlier.